And this is our Western edition. Good evening. It began as an ordinary school day, and it was almost over when gunfire erupted this afternoon. This deadly mass shooting happened in Parkland, Florida, about 20 miles northwest of Fort Lauderdale at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, attended by about 3,000.
When a searing tragedy struck in a place parents felt their children were safe. The worst grade school shooting in U.S. history, at least 27 dead, 20 children, 7 adults, including the principal.
Students were murdered, more than a dozen wounded, and today we know the names of those who were killed. Bailey Holt and Preston Cope, both of them just 15 years old.
Yeah, last night students and families gathered for a vigil to remember the victims. Our Nick Valencia is in Benton, Kentucky. And Nick, I understand you just spoke to the friend of one of those killed.
Yeah.
Sarah, honey, I need to get your daddy on the phone.
Uncle Tommy, what time is it?
I need to talk to your dad now. There's something.
Uncle Tommy? Hello?
Benton, Kentucky. 2 deaths, but with another 18 injured. Sandy Hook Elementary School. Newtown, Connecticut. 27 people shot and killed. Another act of senseless violence. Parkland, Florida. A tragic school shooting that left many shocked. The most recent in a series of mass shootings at schools. 17 people lost their lives in this unthinkable act. What do these acts of violence have in common with each other? Video games were the scapegoat. A lot of people were trying to blame these actions on violence in video games. The video game I am showing you is called The Last of Us. A great tale of revenge, heartbreak, reality checks, and the love a father figure can have for someone he wants to protect. A video game that shows murder, cannibalism, attempted rape, arson, riots, and a world in disarray. Why do I tell you these horrible things that are in this video game? These things are not just in video games, but in all forms of entertainment. The Silence of the Lambs. A great movie, great plot, shows you the inside, the mind of a sick individual who wears the skins of his victims. The Thing, a great classic horror movie about people killing each other because they don't trust each other just to find the monster. The Resident Evil series, a series of movies showing the fall of mankind from zombies and a lack of resources in a post-apocalyptic world. Then there are amazing books. The Shawshank Redemption by Stephen King, a book about a man who went to prison for murder. It shows his trials and tribulations while he was in prison. Some of the things that happened in prison: he got raped in prison. He escapes by the sewer pipe. By the end of the book or movie, depending on which one you do, he's covered in sewage. What is the biggest difference between video games and other forms of entertainment or media? Why do people think video games are the cause and not movies or books? In video games, you control what happens. You control the character. You control everything that happens at any given moment. People see this as a way to practice unthinkable scenarios. The intent of video game developers is to give you control for 2 reasons. The first reason, and the most important reason, is to have fun. These are supposed to be interactive games meant to have fun and help pass time. The second reason, while a lot more recent in the video game world, is just as important. It can become one of the best storytelling tools a developer can use. What better way to tell a story and have you care about characters than have you control them? Everything they see, everything they do, everything that happens to them, you see it. You control it. you are always in control of that person. Violence and war have been a mainstay in human society since the dawn of time. An ancient race of people called the Aztecs are infamous for having human sacrifice in their rituals. The Crusades are actually multiple wars and battles fought over a period of 200 years. It is estimated that over 1 million deaths have been attributed to the Crusades. These are major things, huge things in human history that were done before electricity was even discovered. And then, when we finally had discovered electricity, the first video game wasn't even made until 10 years after World War II. The first video game was made in 1958. A lot of human history, a lot of human violence happened before that time. There was a lot of stuff going on. People wanting to blame video games for these violent acts is a misunderstanding. It's something that shouldn't be happening. Almost all acts of violence are done by people for some other reason than video games, whether it's a mental health problem or just normal people pushed beyond the brink, pushed beyond any normal boundary that any human should endure. We as a society need to be helping each other. Instead of treating each other so badly, we push people to breaking points. We need to be more accepting, more inviting, and a lot more helpful of all these people that are crying out for help. And some of them don't even cry out for help. Some of them just choose to sit back and watch as the world just excludes them and pushes them away. We need to look at ourselves and find out what can we do to help them. Thank you for watching my presentation on video games and violence. And have a good day.
We can't stop here, Tommy. I can't drive through them, Joe! Back up there! They're behind me, too! There! Hold on! Go!
Look